Hi, I'm Jason Dale, and today I'm talking to Peter Vanderkaay. Peter, thank you very much for coming.
Great to be here, Jason.
And now, for those of you who may not know, Peter Vanderkaay is a multiple Olympic medal winner. Multiple golds.
And 2 bronze.
And 2 bronze. Okay, I wasn't sure if they had a silver in there too. You know, when you look at your bio, there's so many things. You know, I don't know if people realize this, but when someone makes it to the Olympics, they've probably had a long history of awards and achievements. You have a world record, or
formerly had a world record. Yeah, the 2 golds are in the 4x200 freestyle relay in Athens and Beijing, and then the bronze were in the 200 free in Beijing and the 400 free in London.
Okay, and you were on a relay team that was the first team to break the 7-minute barrier.
Yeah, that was actually breaking the world record in Beijing. We won that race by a couple body lengths. I was going last, so my thought was just make sure I don't disqualify the relay because we should be able to win it.
Okay, let me start. I want to go back a little bit. I want to start off. You lived in Rochester Hills, Rochester area, for a while. I know you went to Rochester Adams High School. Mm-hmm. Now, when did you really start thinking about swimming as something that was going to start taking you places?
You know, it wasn't until later in high school that I really thought it would take me places. I started at a young age. I was 7 years old, swam for a summer club team in town. And I just liked it because my friends were on the team. It was being in the water and having fun. And I was like that for a number of years. I really wasn't a very competitive swimmer at a young age. I wasn't anyone that people looked at and said, hey, that guy's going to go to the Olympics someday. It was a long process for me, and it wasn't until I really started to grow up that I thought, you know, I might have the talent, I might have the passion for this to try and reach that really high level.
Okay, now is that, I mean, you hear the stories about Olympians, you know, oh, they started, you know, when they were 6 years old, you know, every day, you know, doing this stuff. I mean, yeah, how is it with you know, the other Olympians? Do most of them start, you know, super young, or do some people have to get to a certain maturity before they can even, you know, make that decision and start doing those things they want to do?
There really are a lot of paths of people that have made the Olympic team. Some people, and you know, you see them at the Olympics, they knew they wanted to be an Olympian at 7 years old. That was their dream and they worked towards it. Some people didn't start swimming till later and kind of had that reckoning, you know, as they realized they might have that opportunity. I was more the latter. I started early but didn't realize that I might be able to do it till I was, you know, 16 years old.
Now, was it something that, you know, you sort of thought of on your own, or did you have like a coach or someone say, hey, you know, I've seen a lot of swimmers and, you know, you really got skills, you know, more than, you know, everyone else?
I think it's a little bit of everything. You know, the coaching and support, family and friends. I think everyone kind of came to that realization that I might have that opportunity, not in one particular moment, but over the course of a few years where I was really accelerating in what I was doing and just turning a few heads here and there. And that's when I kind of realized that, you know, personally I might have the opportunity to compete for this country.
Okay, and you went to U of M.
I did.
Had a pretty successful career there. So I'm sure that by that time, you know, you were, you know, really starting to think Olympics, or still kind of weighing the possibilities.
Absolutely. Once I got to U of M, I realized I was kind of knocking on the door of making that that first Olympic team for me, which I did when I was 20. So after my sophomore year at Michigan, I made the team in the relay to go to Athens. And the year before, I had swam for Team USA at the World University Games that summer. And I had went some times there that I knew would be competitive to make the Olympic team the following summer. So I was really pretty energized to keep training hard and working towards that goal.
Now, when you achieved that goal, now, what was it like? I mean, you were pretty young when you went to your first Olympics. I mean, you know, what's it like to, you know, it's one thing for someone to have a goal. You know, we all have goals, but to actually achieve it, you know, what was that like?
It's really kind of a surreal feeling. There's so much work that goes into training that, when you're watching the Olympics, you don't really see. There's a lot of work that goes into that, and to have all that hard work pay off is one of the best feelings in the world, and it's kind of hard to describe, very briefly and
Yeah.
how that feels. It's just an incredible feeling of accomplishment and pride, and just wonderful.
So we're on the verge of an Olympics in Sochi. I'm sure when this airs, the Olympics will probably be, right in the middle of it. What really changes about an athlete's regimen when they're, when their big race is tomorrow, or 2 days from now? Are they, are most of them, kind of freaking out, or are they just listen to their headphones and, they're all good?
I think everyone's a little different. They handle the pressure and the stress a little bit different. For me, it was, it just kind of built as it got closer, and it was more excitement. I tried to keep the nerves at bay and just stay excited and not think about, doing poorly or anything like that. You want to stay positive and confident in your abilities, and a lot of athletes have that ability to kind of flip that switch, to turn it on when they need to turn it on, and then when it's not time to be excited, time to go to bed, turn that switch off and relax.
Does it change with, being at your, at the first Olympics compared to the second Olympics?
I think as I went along, and I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to go to 3 games, I was a little bit more savvy each time. So the first one was a lot more nerves and just kind of going with the flow. The second one, I had a really good idea of, what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got to London, I felt like kind of a pro. I knew exactly what to expect and how to handle everything. And I think that made my experience better too.
So did you ever have a chance to soak it in and kind of enjoy it, and think, wow, I'm here, at the Olympics? I mean, probably not by the third one since you're already there, or maybe more at the third one then.
I think I had a little bit better perspective by the time I got to London, and I remember trying to soak it in at my first games, but it was just so overwhelming, and I was learning so much that it was kind of hard to soak in the moment. And I can reflect on that now and think I had no idea what was going on.
What's it like staying in the Olympic Village?
The Olympic Village is nice. It's kind of a cool situation where everyone is in there. It's kind of this own little city surrounded by a fence, and everyone's eating in the same cafeteria, and you're mingling with different athletes and different sports from all over the world. So it's a unique opportunity to meet people, to learn about other cultures, and just to have fun. I mean, it's a fun environment.
Is there ever a sense of, you're just sitting in the cafeteria and you might think, whoa, that's so-and-so, because there's some Olympic athletes that, they get all the endorsements, and they're like, they're huge before they even, go to the games, they really, some of them haven't even won anything yet,
Yeah.
Is there, and I don't want to say like a hierarchy, but is there sort of like, the celebrities, in the village, or is everyone just sort of just down to earth and all on the same level?
There is like that recognition of some of the athletes that are more well known, certainly, but I think that everyone is pretty much treated equally. We're living in the same sort of living conditions, which is not as nice as people think. I mean, it's not the Ritz-Carlton in there. It's an unfurnished apartment with a single bed and a couple pieces of junky furniture. So everyone is in there in the same conditions and kind of having a good time with it. And you do see some people that are more well known. And I remember being in Beijing and seeing Roger Federer, Dirk Nowitzki walk by and thinking, wow, this is kind of cool. Everyone in here is on the same level.
Do you guys, what about your competition? Do you ever have any time to, mingle with them, or is there like ever an awkward moment? Both sit down at the same table, and it's like, oh, hi, how you doing? Or is it just you really not get to see people from other countries, that much?
You get to see them and interact with them a little bit, but for the most part, the teams kind of stay together too. And that's part of the goal. I knew, when we were in the cafeteria, we wanted to sit together as a team and kind of build that rapport. But you do have the opportunity to kind of bump into somebody in a food line or, say hello if you speak the same language.
Yeah, if.
Yeah.
And now, did you stick around for the opening and closing ceremonies?
I was there actually the whole time for all 3 games.
Okay.
Didn't go to opening ceremonies in 2008 and 2012 because I was competing the next day.
Yeah, they're always talking about that, and we're always thinking, oh, what a bummer, someone's got to, compete the next morning. And
Right, so I was watching it on TV like everyone else. But I did go to all 3 closing ceremonies and got to kind of enjoy the games after I was done competing.
Okay. Got any crazy stories from the Olympic Village?
I don't have any crazy stories. The honest truth is when you're done competing, at least if you're from the U.S., they kind of encourage you to check out of the Olympic Village because they want to turn those rooms over to athletes
really?
that are coming in for other sports. Swimming was the first week, so once we were done with the whole swimming competition, I think they kind of wanted us out so we weren't distracting other athletes, and they also needed the space. So,
Where does everyone go? I mean, if you got a week and a half before the closing ceremonies, just got to get your own hotel room there somewhere. Or?
hotel room, or stay with family or friends. That's something. It's totally up to you. I mean, you're allowed to stay in the village if you want, but it's not as much fun as being outside the village.
Okay, I mean, is it sort of a? Okay, I imagine it's sort of sequestered a little bit. They try to keep things, kind of quiet, separate. They don't allow the media in there to roam around, do they? Maybe
There is like a
conference
media
room.
zone that the media is allowed to be in. They're not allowed to be roaming the village and in your apartment and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, are they ever like roaming around shooting these these profiles and stuff, or is that no? That's all done outside and or beforehand.
Every once in a while, you'd see someone have a profile piece being done, but they would have a special pass for that. As NBC was doing a profile on somebody maybe after they were done competing.
Oh, okay, very cool. What's your favorite Winter Olympic sport that you're going to be watching on TV?
I really like a lot of them. I think some of my favorites are the skiing, some of the downhill skiing, and I'm
Okay.
also a big fan of the cross-country skiing, so I'm looking forward to tuning into those events in the coming weeks.
Okay, so not so much the skating events.
I also like skating. Anything that kind of relates to swimming in terms of racing and timing,
Well, I was going to say
I can relate to a little bit.
Ice is frozen water, so I
Right.
thought that'd be the closest thing to swimming. But,
Yeah, they're going a little bit faster than we go, though.
a little bit. What are you up to these days?
I'm back in the area. I was leading up to London. I was training in Florida for about 18 months, but
Okay.
I've moved back to Oakland County and working downtown in Detroit for a company that does community impact acceleration work.
What is community impact acceleration work?
So the company is called Dandelion, and we work with civic and social leaders to
Okay.
kind of turnkey solutions for them.
Okay. Are you still involved in swimming and stuff? Like maybe mentoring or coaching or something.
I am not so much on the coaching level. I do travel and do some clinics with kids and teams all over the country, but I'm also a USOC athlete rep for the sport of swimming to their athlete governing body. So that's a couple weekends a year where I'm traveling and staying abreast all the things that affect athletes and kind of the voice of the athletes. So I try and stay involved as much as I can, but when you're not training all the time, you lose touch a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the Olympic experience has really, changed your life and opened up a lot of, a lot of non-sports related doors.
Yeah, it's been fun, and honestly, it's been fun to kind of share that experience with a lot of people, especially in the area here, that have supported me so much throughout the years that, to bring the medals around and tell people stories is really fun.
And so I suppose when you're bringing the medals around, everyone wants to hold the medals. Right? And does anyone ever ask you like if they can borrow the medal?
Not to borrow them. I think they probably know the answer to that if it's on a family member. But you know, it is fun to share and you know, take pictures, and people can wear them and you know, see all the cool stuff that's on them. It's fun.
Are they heavier than you thought they would be? Are they?
Yeah, and that's something people say all the time too. They, you know, oh wow, these are heavier than they look. And the other thing I get is you know, is it solid gold? And it's unfortunately not.
Well, you know, the actual makeup of the medal, you know, probably kind of pales in comparison to the mental worth, you know, that it has. You know, we were talking a little bit earlier before we started about, you know, where people keep them. You know, some people keep them locked up, you know, in a safe somewhere, and you know, some people don't. And you know, I guess it just, you know, it means a lot to these people, you know, more than just the, you know, how much gold is actually in there.
Right. The monetary value is insignificant to the sentimental value for me at least. I mean, they're really not worth that much. But what they represent to me is a lot of hard work and goals and things that have paid off over the years. So that's kind of what I enjoy about them.
Okay. What do you have planned for the future? What's next for Peter Vanderkaay?
Well, now that I'm working, you know, I have goals in my career, and hopefully I'll still be in this area. I love this area and grew up here and really identify with the people here. I have a lot of friends and family here, so no matter what I'm doing, I'm hoping to stick around.
No, we're glad that you're here. I want to thank you very much for coming by. Really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Vanderkaay. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Jason.